All right, how's it going, guys? It is John Brown and Mason Dorr here again with a shift in perspective. And today we're talking about alternative news sources, why we need alternative news sources aside from the mainstream media, and a couple little insights on it. I also have a video I want to play that shows how the mainstream media is ignoring factual information right in front of their faces. So let's start out with talking about why we don't want the mainstream media and why the mainstream media is bad to listen to. And pretty much they have a bias. There's different news organizations. Fox News has a Republican bias. CNN is liberal bias, isn't they?
Mm.
Yeah. And so they kind of push the issues that are happening. They find the hot topic of the time, and they say, well, look at it this way. This is how it's actually going. The Republicans think it's going this way. No, the Democrats think it's like this. And they'll skew facts, skew information. And
Yeah.
they play like a mainstream game. They play children's games when they're not just presenting real information. And also it depends on who owns the corporation, the news corporation that's talking about these issues, and how they want public opinion to be swayed. Because when you think about the media and the amount of millions of people that watch this, it sways public opinion across the entire nation. Like millions, hundreds of millions of people are watching these shows, and that's where they get their information from. If they leave out key points, key information, or just leave out a subject in total, that's all the people will have to make decisions on or make opinions, inform opinions about. And so I have a little clip here I wanted to show.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna add in like something that's pretty crazy about like the mainstream media people don't realize is 90% of the media in America is actually owned by six corporations: GE, News Corp, Disney, Viacom, Time Warner, and CBS. And in 1983, there was actually 50 companies that owned 90% of the market, and that's been consolidated down to six.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not necessarily just like a news source. That's it's TV, radio, movies, everything like that. But something that's pretty crazy is News Corp owns the top newspaper on three continents. I mean, it's pretty hard to deny what they're saying if they seem so
Yeah.
reputable,
If it's so
and
consistent
a
across the
lot of
entire
people.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
thought
when
that
a
was pretty
central
crazy.
organization controls that much solo information going to the people, that's, if you have any
Hmm.
bias in there, that's not good. You can't be doing that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah. And I mean, I don't necessarily think that a lot of the media corporations are necessarily trying to hide things
Hmm.
all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with what American people want to consume.
Oh,
American
that's very
people
true.
don't
Yep.
necessarily care about things that are happening in the world. They don't care what's going on in Iran and
Yeah,
Iraq.
that's a very good point.
Um, they're worried about social non-social things that
Yeah,
are going on.
it's definitely a lot of it's entertainment, sensationalism,
Yeah, yeah,
focusing. Oh, and
definitely.
there's so many things like with the shootings and stuff. They'll focus on the person they'll like glorify them unintentionally, unintended consequence. They'll glorify this person, say their name,
Yeah.
and so that gives incentive for other people to do the exact same thing because they're going to be known throughout the whole freaking world now.
Yeah, something like a big thing a big problem that I have is like even when something like major happens, it doesn't even necessarily have to be major. Just if anything happens, CNN always posted as breaking news.
Oh,
And like you follow them on Twitter, and it's absolutely horrible. Like I honestly think that Twitter like ruined the definition of actual breaking news. Um, I was on there the other day, and like their breaking news was a score of an NBA basketball game. I mean, I'm not kidding,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and that's
yeah. And there's channels for that.
that's
Breaking
horrible.
news should not be
Yeah,
sports unless
I mean
like
that's pure sensationalism, and that's something that good journalism strives not to do.
yeah.
You're taught in school not to sensationalize things like that, and apparently they didn't take enough away from their classes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, they should not be doing that. And that's what the people want to consume, though. I mean, I'm sure they look at
Yeah,
market research and they're thinking, oh, you know what? When we put this on our channel, more people stay tuned, so we make more
right.
money for Viacom.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's what a lot of media is about, and that's why we don't want a focus on mainstream media. And there is so much underground media going on, and it's amazing what's going on. There's full on shows that make money off of YouTube. Just they started on YouTube. The Young Turks, he started on YouTube, and now they're like a multi-million-dollar company. It's very cool. So yeah, let's talk about a few. Actually, before we talk about the alternative sources, let me show this video real quick of what the mainstream media did in the Ron Paul debate when he was, or the Ron Paul running campaign when he was running in 2012. It's pretty funny, actually. It's actually kind of sad, but all right, I'll play it right here.
They make enough gasoline for themselves.
As the race for the Republican nomination heats up, there is one candidate who has been largely ignored by the mainstream media. Shame on us. He deserves more attention from us than he's getting.
We're in absolute panic mode because they've looked at the numbers and they know Ron Paul is the real front runner in the 2012 election.
We have a top tier. It is Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann.
We have a new top tier, and it's Perry, Mitt Romney, and Bachmann.
There's now a top tier in this race, at least for now, of Romney, Perry, and Bachmann.
I think that's fair to say. Really fair to say? You're not forgetting, I don't know, anyone, say an ideologically consistent 12-term congressman who came within less than 200 votes of winning the straw poll. Isn't anyone going to give that gentleman a little vote?
When Ron Paul ran for the Republican nomination in 2008, he talked about the economy imploding, the untenable nature of the national debt, the eventual destruction of our currency, and the limited role for government. In the 4 years since then, a lot of the things Ron Paul warned us about have happened. We're deeper in debt, a lot deeper. The dollar is worth quite a bit less, and the country is more divided maybe than at any time since the Civil War.
Pretending Ron Paul doesn't exist for some reason has been going on for weeks.
All right, here's a really
A new
good part
Gallup
right here.
survey showing Rick Perry running second to Mitt Romney, knocking down Iowa favorite Michelle Bachmann to fourth.
Behind who? The media does remember Ron Paul. It's only to reassure themselves how there's no need to remember Ron Paul.
Right now, live, right next to the bus behind us, Ron Paul is speaking.
And guess what, Paul? If you get video of Sarah Palin or get a soundbite from her, bring that back to us. You can hold the Ron Paul stuff.
If ever a presidential hopeful embodies a nation of personal freedom and fidelity to the Constitution, it would be Texas Republican Congressman Ron Paul.
He's gotten more money from the military than all the other Republicans combined, and he's gotten more than Obama got. Think about that.
You've got, and you may...
All right, so you saw there in the video that two obvious examples. The first one being when they had the straw poll, he was third place, and they mentioned first, second, and fourth, and they didn't even talk. They didn't even say Ron Paul's name. They just said this person finished first, this one second, and coming in fourth was Michelle Bachmann, and they didn't even, they don't even mention his name. And this kind of thing happens time and time and time again. And then you saw at the end, though, they said, oh, give us information about this person, but you keep that Ron Paul stuff. That's what I mean about the bias, is they're making that assumption put out there unconscious. People don't even think about that. They're just like, oh, Ron Paul must be a joke. So that's the kind of thing they're putting out there with those really emotionally charged opinions of people.
yeah. I mean, it's extremely hard to completely ignore the mainstream media. I mean, obviously they're a great source for certain things,
Yeah.
but people definitely need to go out and do their own independent research.
Definitely.
Something that I always find confusing, and I don't understand why they don't do it, probably because it would kill their popularity. But I think that all politicians should have like their own website that clearly states their stance on everything. And I don't know if there is. Maybe I'm missing out, on something like this.
Justin Amash, he's a senator. I think he's a senator. Maybe no, he's a rep or a senator from Michigan, and he on Facebook, every single vote that he takes, he explains every single vote on Facebook. He says HR 6 blah blah blah. I voted this way because of this reason, and he's a really good guy. He's a really big supporter of Ron Paul as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like,
Yep.
all politicians, should do that instead of, going up on stage during the debates and they can completely flip-flop on ideas. And, most people don't realize it. If there was like a site that, had this is what I stand for, as a person, I mean, they'd be a lot less
Yeah.
apt to go back on their word there.
Yeah, that'd definitely be cool. They'd have hard
So
evidence
they
on what.
shouldn't. Yeah, yeah. And politicians, shouldn't let media sway how they vote on things. They should let the people, the
Yeah.
people that support them change their perspectives on
Yeah,
things.
for sure.
That's why calling your state representatives and stuff is so important.
Yep.
I know you've done it several times.
Yep.
And sometimes they say, "Hey, we've only had like 3 calls on this issue. We really,
Yeah, that's a good point. I went to
it's awesome
Washington.
that you called in."
I went
So
to Washington D.C. for the Students for Liberty conference, and when I was there, I saw Justin Amash speak, and he was saying, yeah, call in on issues because he's talked to some people who had nobody call in on him, and then like 4 or 5 people actually did call in. That's all. Like that's the numbers he said. He might have said 5, 6. I think he said 5, 6. And he said that alone swayed their opinion. So people do have power, and if you tell people, I call Congress, and they might get inspired themselves, like, oh wow, really? How do you do that? What did you call in on? Blah 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 blah.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so staying on track here, let's talk about alternative news sources that we think are super awesome. All right.
Okay.
Let's see. One of my favorites probably has to be Twitter, because you get the purpose of it in short little sentence, and you get the link with it as well. So if you're on a computer, you see a thing like let me put up my screen here. We got on Twitter, RT America, Congress derails Obama's plans to arm Syrian rebels. So you get the subject real quick, and it shows a link to the article if you want to get the details on it. And you can follow whoever you want. It's not certain channels you can only get. RT America is really good. Anonymous. Joe Rogan's pretty cool.
Yeah, Anon News is great. ANON News.
Yep.
Yep. I would also say, I mean, there's a lot of great, individuals and small news organizations that do put out a lot of great material that's different from mainstream things.
Yep.
But I think it's also important to watch out for some of the news sites like that. I feel like they intentionally try and stir things up, and they skew their own facts when trying to say that the mainstream media is wrong. And it's doing your own independent research is seriously more important than anything.
Yeah, it's not about believing, just blanketly believing in one source. Like, I am a Republican, and this Republican says this. And that's what I agree with. It's about looking at the issue and then looking at all kinds of different sides of it, getting all the information, forming your own opinion. That's the most important thing, is thinking for yourself, really.
Definitely.
But also having news organizations that you follow that do that as well, instead of purposely try to, put out bad information. Okay. Yeah, so Twitter is definitely really good. You can pick out whoever you want, and a lot of independent news organizations that start on the internet, that start online, they don't have any external pressures to try to get them to talk about news in a certain way. They're doing it. They created this because they wanted that freedom of press, that freedom to talk about anything they wanted without having someone say, "Oh, no, that doesn't quite agree with our agenda here. You word it like this a little bit. Kind of say it like this."
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, so Twitter is really, really good. Another one is YouTube, because you can just get the video straight there. YouTube is really popular for the Young Turks, or the Young Turks is really popular on YouTube. RT America has stuff on there. You can just see videos on all kinds of news. All the latest breaking news is right on there.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan Experience is a great thing to follow. He's cool. Okay. So, is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, that's a pretty good overview. mainstream media, you can watch it. Just be open-minded to the idea that maybe they're not giving you the whole story. Maybe they are. Maybe they are showing you the whole story. But check out some independent news organizations. That's what I have. I have Twitter on my phone. Boom, I just scroll through it. Anything I want to know. All the sources that I've checked out and checked their past, checked their background, and made sure they're all kind of legit organizations. Right on my phone, right on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Facebook is awesome for that as well. You can like all the different pages that you like, and in your news feed, you'll have it all right there when you're checking your Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool stuff. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. This is John Brown, Mason Durr signing out, and a shift in perspective. And thanks for watching, guys.